Hello, and welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and my philosophy is to believe in infinite possibilities. Tonight, our topic is psychic protection, and I'm going to be teaching you about why we want to protect ourselves psychically. I'm going to give you some exercises to do, and I'm also going to tell you a few stories about my experiences, and then we're going to have a message from Archangel Gabriel for the day and what he says about it from a meditation that I did. Then we'll take a few questions, of course. So if you are listening now, go on over to wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook, my group, Free Psychic Readings, Beacon of Light, or on my page, Beacon of Light Radio on Facebook, and your comments will be imported to this stream. So psychic protection is not just for psychics. Okay, we're talking about spiritual protection. Why use it? I never thought that some of the things that I have experienced and seen over the years doing these healings and readings and house cleanses existed, like really existed, until I saw them. And I didn't know personally how powerful God's protection and light and our choices are until then either. Right now at this time of the year, I thought it was a good time to do this because the veil is very thin. There are two times of year that this happens. Usually it's around October, about a month and a half around that time. And now. And so what you're going to have is, although it's always a good idea to practice protection spiritually and pray, this time of year, just, you will have experiences that you don't normally have. See things out of the corner of your eye, feel things around you, maybe odd experiences in the house, with the electrical devices, things like that. Because what you've got in our world and in our dimension are a lot of things that we don't see. Now, we know that angels are real, and we know that God is real, and we know that all the good guys are real. Well, there's an up and a down and a right and a left and a back and a forward to everything, duality in our universe. You have to also accept that there are bad guys, and we have seen that. And a lot of times it's easier for people to accept the bad guys than it is the good. But during this time of year, what you have are a lot of wandering spirits. You always kind of have shadow figures and bad guys wandering around of all different sorts, trying to influence the population. Just as we have our personal angels and all the good guys running around trying to save the population and protect the population, you've got those bad guys, and I don't like to use the names. I don't like to give it any power, but the bad guys are there too. And it was interesting that, when I started doing the healings, if you guys, a lot of you are taking my interdimensional meditation classes, and you are seeing how I am seeing things. You are seeing how it is possible to see on a different level in meditation. And when I started doing, somebody said, well, if you can do that, if you can go and talk to Jesus, if you can go see the angels, if you go talk to God, why not heal people? And I was like, because I'm not a healer. No pressure. But so I tried it, and yes, you can be a healer. Yes, you can be the person that stands up and goes before God and says, I will be that vehicle for this for you, and nothing more than a vehicle for that. But when you put a bunch of light into somebody's body on a soul level, sometimes bad things pop out or step away. It's not always that somebody's possessed. Don't go there. That's actually very rare. Partial influence, something hanging onto you, something putting cords into you, something influencing you, is very, very common, as this, just like house flies in a house. And it's very important that we pick our team. It's very important that we practice protection, and we pray, and pray for those around us, and ask for to be protected from that. I was doing a healing one time, and I with a friend of mine, actually, and I didn't want to tell her what happened because I figured I was just losing it. I figured, oh my gosh, you just made that up. But I was doing all these things and putting the light in here and taking this out, putting this in, and Jesus was there and God up above and the angels around, and I couldn't understand why the angels were standing next to me, shoulder to shoulder, in this circle. And I was like, okay. They knew, they saw it. And some of you that are doing meditations, if any of the archangels ever come up real close to you and look you right in the eye, that's what they're looking for. So I put the light into my friend, and this thing pops out. And I was kind of like, whoa, and I was busy doing things, and it was like this long-armed, long-fingered, red-eyed, pointy-eared top of a dark shadow body, and the bottom of it was like a little squiggly thing, and I was like, what the hell is that? And it popped out, and I thought, okay, it's out. We're in the presence of God and the angels and everything else, and maybe it's gone. And so I just kept doing my thing. Pretty soon, it was right here. I could see it right here. I thought it was gone. It wasn't gone. And then, just without knowing, I grabbed the thing by the neck, pin it to the ground, and Archangel Michael comes and takes it away. And so I learned in that situation, although a protected situation, that you can't just sage something away. You can't just blast somebody with light, because it'll pop them out, but they'll go back in, or they'll go come after you. It needs to be removed, and it needs to be taken back to the dimension that its vibration matches, because it's not supposed to be here. So anyway, I learned that, and then after a while, I started seeing in the healings that there were things implanted in people that were causing illness. I started seeing the soul walks into the healing room, and they've got something following them. And there's this flash, and the thing that's following them can't see me, see where it's at, but it's there. And so we got to get rid of that in order to do the healing. And so over time, my friend Marcy's here. Hi, Marcy. Love you. Anyway, Marcy does the same thing. And so if you ever need something, she's in the chat. Probably on Facebook. Yeah, she's messaging on Facebook. And so she had been doing this for many, many years, and I was experiencing these things, and I went back to her and I said, so somebody asked me to come into their house and see if it's okay. And I saw this like Godzilla looking thing with, reptilian looking thing walking around in there with all these little minions running around too. It's got a tail. And she's like, oh yeah, that's this and that. This is a reptilian. This is that. That's really common. And her and I both, and doing house cleanses for so many years, would see something that looked like a shadow figure with a top hat. I've never heard anybody speak about it except me and her. And we did not know what that was. I found out later that you've got what's called, you'll have an infestation in a home, some kind of tragic event, very negative energy. Somebody played with a Ouija board. Somebody's doing something they're not supposed to be doing. You have somebody with addictions in the home, and things can follow them in. They just open a portal and let all their buddies in to suck your life force energy out of you little by little, and control you to create more chaos. And that would be what we call attachments. Now this is in a home. So the top hat thing, I went to her and I said, "You've been doing this longer than me. I mean, what am I seeing here? Is this just, what's with this dude with the top hat? He's in too many places, you know?" And so I went into meditation. I asked the angels, and what we would normally see are these minions. So if you ever in a home, you get a feeling of dread, and in the corner of your eye, you're seeing short shadow things zip around. And you've had lots of problems with attitudes in the house, illnesses, bad dreams, destructive behaviors, things like that. That could be left in a home from somebody else. Coming in, they've got a portal in the house opened up spiritually, and they're just coming in and out. It's like having roaches in your house. So this top hat thing, I went finally and asked the angels, and they said, it's not a hat, it's a cone. And it's controlling the minions. I'm like, ugh. I call them minions because I don't like to use the D word and stuff like that. So over the years, just little tidbits, these are the things that I have seen. And in doing house cleanses and attachment removals and healings. And I never thought they existed. I didn't believe in that, I'm all God and light, Jesus and the angels and everything else, and going in meditation, squeezing everybody's hand, and we're all happy and talking about stuff, and and then you got this part of it, and I'm like, well, if you chose to do this, and you want to do healings for people, and if you chose to heal people spiritually, physically, and mentally, that's part of it. And if that is the root that we need to pull out, so be it. So what happens is we'll go in. I go into meditation. I always start there. Do not try this at home. I don't know if everybody's meant to do this. Okay, just don't try it at home. Don't try it at home. So we go into meditation. I meet in this big courtyard. Michael's there, Gabriel's there, and Jesus is there, and a whole bunch of angels. And what we do is I meet up with Jesus. Someone gives me a picture, an email, and we just take like 2-3 steps and we're there. And what happens is when we walk in, there's this huge, I actually do the flash. That's my part. I do the flash. Walk in and just flash, just everything with this light, and everything just freezes. It's almost like, it reminds me of freeze tag when you're a little kid. How like it just, this light, and then everything's like, and so that's what happens. And these things are stunned. Nothing is ever destroyed. And then Jesus stands on the other side of me at a place in the room, and he opens up like a portal in the floor, okay? And then I spin the light, and he casts it out. The light spins round like a tornado, and you can just see it pulls all the negative energy and all the negative entities out of the home, and they just start zooming down this hole. And I don't look at them. You do not make eye contact. You do not engage with that kind of thing. And when I do that, when I'm with them, there really is no emotion. There's no fear. There's no anger. There's no, I'm going to battle you. You do not do that. You do not hesitate, and you do not give them any power to get into your mind. So I maintain eye contact with Jesus the whole time. And so everything's peripheral vision, and until the place is cleansed and everything is gone, and then he closes the hole with his foot, and then there's another flash, and then he blesses the house. Then when everything's dormant and clean, we go around, and he usually shows me where the portal is, and he would do something, just close it. I'm over there trying to like be all cool about it. And okay, sometimes he's like, well, you try. I'm like, okay, I'll do it, and he goes over there and he's like, and it's done. I really, so I can't, so seeing these things, one thing it taught me was that you walk in there with the angels and with Jesus, and they really are no match for the light. And they would like to make all kinds of movies and all kinds of things to scare you and influence and everything else. But from what I've experienced, they can be removed. I'm not going to get arrogant about it, but it's something that is not of concern. A lot of these places that you see on these paranormal shows really have demons in them and not ghosts. Some of the paranormal groups are bringing their own with them, but so it's not something you mess with. You don't sit there in a home that you think could possibly have demons and say, use my energy. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No, not. There's serious stuff here. It's not for fun. It's interesting enough that it showed me how powerful God is, and how powerful his light is, and how real it is. And I'm not the only one that does this. Anything that happens, I've talked to Marcy a lot about these things over the years, because I was like, okay. I don't get the whole reptilian thing. I don't believe you about all that and all this and all that. And then I saw some, and I'm like, well, I think there's reptilians in there. So God's light is very powerful. Your prayers are always heard. Protection is needed, and without putting any fear into you, you need to come to a place in your faith. You need to come to a place of knowing. You don't want to walk around like a victim saying, well, everything's going to attack me. I don't walk around like that after having these experiences. Marcy doesn't either. We walk around like a bug zapper, pretty much. I had this one experience once, and I was raised Catholic, kind of half-assed Catholic, but I've received all the sacraments that I could by now. I think it's a beautiful religion. There's a lot of things in there I don't believe, but I think they're man-made, but it's very respectful of Jesus's teachings and things. And but there were some things that I thought that were just like pomp and circumstance, like let's talk about baptism. I'm not saying everybody has to go out and get baptized, right? But I had an experience where I went into this home remotely in meditation, with angels on that level of consciousness. And this place had so many people living in it. It was just overrun with bad guys everywhere. And I mean, that was man, that was a tough one. Not really, but it took. There's a lot of things going down the hole. I'll tell you that. And when we were done, I told you how he walks me around the house to find the portals, and we walked past this room in the hallway, and the door was closed, and I could see the light on, and I kind of, you can peer through things when you're in that state, and I saw a little boy sitting on his bed, probably 11 years old, and I said, what about this room? And she said no, and I said, well, why? And he said, they leave him alone. And I said, why? He said, he's been anointed. I'm like, and I didn't clue in. I didn't make the connection. I was like, okay. So we went around and got the other portals and everything. And then I emailed the mom back, who had purchased the house cleansing, and told her everything I found and everything that happened. And what was there. And then I asked her, I said, there's a room in the hallway, a little boy in it. I said, Jesus said they leave him alone because he's been anointed. And, in my mind at the time, I was thinking, maybe it's some kind of spiritual thing that happened in heaven before he came here. Maybe he's a special individual, something like that. And she goes, he's the only one in the house who's been baptized, and he prays in his room. And I was just like, oh, chills, oh. And I really learned something there. I was like, that's powerful stuff. That is powerful stuff. And it made me think for a long time. I was like, you know what? It really does mark you as God's child. I mean, it really does provide you with protection. I mean, think about it. In the baptism, when you're having it done wherever you are, everybody's gathered together in the same intention, and the water and the ceremony and everything else. That's a lot of loving intention paired together to make sure that this child or this person is marked as God's child. And it's real. And, it took me like 40 something years to figure that out. But I think back on it and, I kind of, things and then but you don't really know them. And I remember my second daughter, Katie, just the way our life was going, we hadn't got her baptized yet. And she was like 4. And when she was I did it twice actually, and I forgot I did it the first time, so I did it again, just in case. And it was going to take a long time with the classes and everything to get her baptized in the church. They make you go through a long period if you don't do it right away. And I remember the second time. The first time I faintly remembered doing it while I was giving her a bath. But when she was in the tub, and I got the cup, and I'm on the outside of the tub, and she's in there, and I'm washing the shampoo out of her hair on my knees. You do that with the little kids. And I had a thought, and I was like, well, if I was out in the middle of nowhere, and there was no priest around, there were no classes to take, and whose intention is any stronger than mine as her mother? I'm just going to ask God to baptize this child in the name of the Holy Spirit. And I did, with a cup, on the head. And I did. And just in case, it's probably a Catholic thing. Well, just in case. But I did that early. And then it wasn't until I had that house cleansing with that little boy that I really saw the difference. Now, as you go about your life, you can be baptized, and you can make all kinds of choices to invite people with attachments into your life and do things that have addictions and all kinds of stuff. That's more of choice, and nobody's going to interfere with your free will, right? It's like in the Catholic religion, we have the baptism, and then along the way, later on, we have the confirmation, and that's basically you accepting as an older person this and saying, yes, I accept this. And so, whether you're Catholic, whether you're Christian, whether you're anything, I mean, even if it's, we do it in Jesus' name, but, even if you're Jewish, it just, and I might be ignorant on this, but why not, if you love God, why not get in the shower and you haven't been baptized and say, you know what? Why not do it yourself? I mean, your intention and your decision and your choice. Why not? And Gabriel, I talked to Gabriel about that. I'm going to tell you about that at the end. I've got it all written down. I don't want to skip forward, but so that is powerful. Your choices are powerful. And it's funny. So, I'm the spiritual gal, right? I'm the angel lady. And so the kids hadn't been, Katie hadn't been baptized. Faith hadn't gotten her first communion, and Katie had to get her first communion, and so I was widowed, and I needed help raising these kids. And I'm like, you know what, they're not going to listen to me about faith, so I'm gonna, we're going back to church. And so we go into church, and excuse me, allergies. So we take the faith formation classes where you have to, you got to take like 8 months of classes to get caught up, right? And so the kids look at me and they say, well, how come we have to take these classes if you don't have to take these classes? And I'm like, well, I've been baptized. And, I said, you have to receive the sacraments, and they're like, well, did you receive all the sacraments? And I'm just like, well, no, not all of them. I haven't been confirmed, because my parents got divorced and didn't get confirmed. And so I said, why do we have to do it if you don't have to do it? And I'm like, well, I will do it then. So I went in the classes with them. And I'm the girl in the back of the room. Put my hand, like 38 people in there, and with the priest, lovely priest, by the way, Father Roger, he was great. I'm the girl in the back of the room. And they're teaching everybody everything. And I'm in the back of the room like, what if heaven's another dimension? And, there's lower dimensions and higher dimensions. And, and I'm asking all these questions, and he's just stopped calling on me. Just anyone question, anyone? And I'm just over there, I always had something way out there to say that didn't match up with the narrative, it's like, so we're in these classes, and they split us up, and the people that had to be confirmed, we had to all go into the church and sit in the pews. And there's like all these people in there. And so they're doing the thing where Jesus washes his disciples' feet. Okay. And this sweet little priest, he's like 150 years old. Okay. Sweetest man in the whole world. He's supposed to come around with his bowl and get on his feeble little knees and wash my feet. And I felt so bad. I'm like, I really don't like people touching my feet. And like, I can't have him do that for me. It's so, what if he breaks his knee or something, And so we're all just sitting there. I wasn't going to do it. A few people stood up to do it. They don't make you do anything. And the deacon was up in the front. And the lady, the wife of the deacon was like, anyone else? Anybody want to have their feet washed? And I'm thinking, I don't want to have my feet washed. I don't want to do that. And so I'm just not going to do it. And the wife of the deacon stands up, and like 10, 12 pews in front of me, stands up, turns around, looks me square in the eyes, and says, who wants to be Jesus's disciple? And I'm like, and then something came over me, and I just stood up, and I was like, I do. And so then the little 150-year-old priest comes over, and he's washing my feet and stuff. But I thought about that later, and I'm like, it's totally unlike me. I would have just like sunk into the background, and like, she's not looking at me, but she's looking right at me, And I didn't just say it because she did that. I said it because I meant it. In that moment, I meant it. And those are the kinds of decisions that we make along the way, whether you're Christian, whether you're whatever, that we belong to God, that we belong to the good side, and that is our team. And those are the kinds of things that you need to do. And you need to trust in that, because I have seen the power of God. There's no match. There's nothing higher than that. So there's a few little things you can do as a piece of God and as a spiritual being to protect yourself. First of all, make choices. One of the most powerful things you can do is say, I reject all evil. Say it when you say your prayers at night, when you go to bed. It's very simple. I reject all evil forevermore. a lot of people, I'm doing this show right now also because a lot of people are really concerned about like being taking the mark of the beast by getting a vaccine, or what are they doing to us now? I mean, have they put some kind of chip in us? I mean, what if I got some kind of mark on me? Excuse me, some kind of mark on me and the end comes or something like that. People get scared about that. They can do anything they want to your body. And that's one thing Gabriel told me. It's like beautiful. What did he say? He said, choice is the reason for everything. And it doesn't seem like that, because my second thought was, well, there's victims. And he said, there are victims of the flesh, but never the soul. They cannot take you unless you want to go. Even earthbound spirits have been convinced in some way that they can't go. That's choice. So you in your life right now, I hope y'all walk around like, hey, sorry, but I'm God's daughter. So, you can't mess with me. That's what I want everybody to walk around like spiritual badasses and wear your bubble of light and pull out your sword and your shield and everything else and your armor. Why not? Why not? Make your choice. Choose your team. And that's what we're going to do. And I know it sounds like I talk too much about God, but that's my thing. I don't care. Anyway, I'm going to talk a lot about God. That's where we're at right now. That's what we need right now. I'm going to get off into all the other neat, cool topics as we move along with this show. Like all the mysteries of the world and all that stuff. But right now, this is what we need. So, like, because I've got a lot of people that, like, from other countries and things that tell me that they're going to be forced to take a vaccine. And they said, they feel like, oh, all is lost because that's against my religion. And I think it's a mark and all this stuff. And I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, absolutely not. Think about all, the reality of it is this isn't our only trip. This is not our only class. We have one eternal life. That's what's been mistaken. You have one eternal life. It doesn't. You're not limited. God's not going to limit himself in his creation, his experience, or his exploration. So think about all the other lives where you've been harmed or you've been hurt or whatever. They didn't take your soul. It's just a car. Somebody come over and bash in your windows and of your car and slash your tires, but you still, open the door and get out. Doesn't change who you are. It just hurts the car. And we're like, well, I really don't want anybody to bash my windows and hurt my car right now. And we don't. But don't worry about your soul. That is your choice. And you just go have a little talk with God and tell him exactly how you feel and say, no matter what anybody ever does to me, if somebody tortures me and makes me say something, that is not true. This is how I feel forevermore, and this is my choice. And then don't worry about it, because I don't want anybody, I've seen earthbound spirits from other time periods that believe they can't go to heaven because they had a child out of wedlock or did something against humans' rules. And then you have to convince them and cross them over, and it's sad. So don't let anybody ever get between you and God. That is you and him, and that is yours. So they can stick you with whatever they want, and they can mess with your car all they want, but they can't have what's inside. All right, so off the soapbox on that one. So what we want to do is, the ultimate goal here is to live like you're divine. Perfect is a word that means something different to everyone. So if you're going to aspire to be perfect, who's perfect are you aspiring to? I would think it would be better to aspire to be divine, to be the most loving, to be the most wise, to be the most understanding, not of more than others, but the most that you can be on your journey right now. So some of the exercises we can do is there's the bubble. Everybody knows about the bubble. Put yourself in a bubble. Blasting is what I call it. That's when you pull the light of God within you and you push it out in one way, shape, or form. You can put mirrors around yourself. See, you're a creator. You create anything. Spiritually, mirrors around yourself facing out so that everything reflects off. It doesn't get in. You can baptize yourself. Go get baptized, get anointed. You can use the lights to push the energy back. You can get cleanse yourself. There's lots of things that we can do, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. The message for the day from Gabriel, before we get into all of that, is God's always listening. No one is silenced. No one is unworthy. No one is misunderstood. And your call, and he's talking about the call right now. He said your call is being answered. And you guys know what I'm talking about right now. So good news with that. Now, let's talk about before I get into this, the rest of the information from him. Let's get into how to protect yourself. So, going about your day, and let's say you walk into the office, and it's like walking through sand because the negativity in there is just fierce, okay? So, that would be a bubble or a mirror time. So what you do, and you'll get real quick at it. Nobody needs to know you're doing anything. You just kind of think to yourself, you say, God, send me your light. And I want you to picture, and you'll get this will be instantaneous pretty soon. But, at first, this light comes down to the top of your head, fills you to bursting, and then you kind of let it, in your mind, you see it push out into this bubble, and you say, stay. Simple. The light always wants a command. It always wants instruction. It knows how to do everything, but it is something important about you asking or confirming what you want. So, in healing as well. So we push it out. Now we're walking around with this bubble. Okay? And you'll feel more protected. What happens is the negative energies around you. It's not imagination. Those that are taking my meditation classes right now, and I told them, let's just start out with imagination. They're all messaging me saying, oh my God, it's real. Because, and I said, well, duh, that's, I wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't real. So you're walking around in your bubble. It's absolutely real. It's energy. It's divine. It's like a bug zapper. It's going to push everything off of you. It's not going to hit you. It's not going to absorb into you. So you can walk around in your bubble when you're around negative people. If you are an empath, if you have anxiety or whatever about being in public places with all of the other energies like Walmart, put your bubble on before you go to Walmart. That's something you can always do. And there's people out there saying, oh, well, the bubble. My husband saw this video today, and he's like, oh, there's some guy on there saying that the bubble is a bunch of crap. And I'm like, pretty sure that that guy can't see the demons like I can, and seeing that the bubble is not a piece of crap. And it's like, yeah, that's his faith. That's his journey. Whatever. That's fine. But it's real and it's powerful. And so everybody has the power to bring theirs in. Let's walk around in our bubble. Otherwise, you can picture mirrors, create anything you want with thought as a piece of God. So you picture mirrors facing out. Now, this is going to be for extreme negative people like saying bad things to you, people, so it's just going to shoot everything out so that you can be an observer, so that you cannot be affected by it. You can think clearly, things like that. Now, Archangel Michael, I've learned all this stuff from Archangel Michael in meditation. He taught me how to blast, and that's a funny story, but I call it blasting because that's what it looks like. So one day I'm in meditation, and he comes up to me, and Gabriel and Michael are there, and he says, "It's time to train." And I said, "Okay." And he says, "We've done all this before, but you don't remember." I said, "Okay." And so we're standing in this courtyard, and Gabriel's sitting off to the side like this is totally amusing. And Michael tells me, "Blast me." And he comes running at me. And I mean, if I didn't love him so much, I would have been scared. That's pretty scary. He's like 7 foot tall and like He-Man. And he's got like full armor, big old sword, comes running at me. And so I put my hand out, and it came out of my hand, this white light. I blasted him. I picked him up, and I set him down. He goes, "No. Throw me back." And I'm like, okay, I'll throw you back. But I can't do it because I love him. And I just can't. It's like punching your father in the face or something, or your brother. It feels like a brother. It's like a brotherly kind of thing. So then he runs at me again. So I pick up my hand, and I blast him. I pick him up, I put it down. And I just could not do it. And Gabriel's laughing. But this is the kind of stuff that went on in meditation for a very long time. And he taught me these things. And if I can pick Michael up and set him down, and apparently I can blow him back, but I didn't do it. The light is very powerful. Trust me. So that would be blasting. And it was easiest when you start. This is all in your mind, okay? Do not go into the bank, close your eyes, and put your hand up and start doing weird crap, okay? Because people will not understand, okay? This is all in your mind. You just kind of like glaze off. And if there's, you put your bubble on, or, you blast the person next to you who's giving you pain in the side of your head because they've got attachments or are trying to mess with you, and you just blast them, blast somebody in line at Walmart, whatever. Here's the other thing that I usually do when I go to bed at night. You'll get better at it, okay? And so what you do is you bring the light all the way down. Some weird comment in chat. I think it's spam. Disregard that. Anyway, so you bring the light down through the top of your head, you fill up till bursting, and then you just let it go like a bomb blast. Just picture like a bomb, like an atomic bomb, just in all directions. And you blast your space. You will see, when you do this in public, people's attitudes will change. And Gabriel told me a little bit more about this. People's attitudes will change. Anything that's in the house gets pushed out. Suddenly your husband's sorry for his attitude earlier, something like that. And you just don't tell anybody about it. Don't say anything. Just, go along your merry way, giggle, whatever, and blast the kids when they come home from school. Stuff like that. And it really just pushes out the negative energy because It doesn't like the light. It can't stand it. It's like a bug zapper is what I'm saying. And so when you push this out, like in your home, all you got to do in your mind is keep the thought and say, stay. And then you've got your shields up. And when I say shields up, ladies, in my group, that's what I'm talking about. Put your shields up. This is a good time of year to do that because there is a lot, the veil is very thin. There's all kinds of things running around. I was talking to Gabriel in meditation about it. I'm trying to find the good part here. Okay. Oh, this is good. This is good. This is something new. When you're dealing with somebody, let's say you're going to blast an individual person. Do not put your hand up to their forehead. They will think you're crazy. Just do it in your mind. Okay. And you put your hand up in your mind, see the light come and blast this person. Now, if you're worried that this person may have attachments, ask Michael, I'm going to blast him, and he'll be right there. And if anything pops out, he'll take it away. You may not see what pops out. You may not see anything except the blasting, but you're going to see it with your mind's eye. It's all going to happen in your mind. But it's absolutely real. Go ahead and do that, and you'll see that person's attitude change. And what he said was, when you do that, when you blast, just simply say, be love. Be love. And he never told me that before, so I'm gonna have to try that. But so what's gonna change is this person's soul is gonna be reminded to be what they really are and not be so centered in the negative energy. You're going to be blasting negative energy away from them, and any influence that is influencing them at that moment, maybe standing behind them or something, that will get blasted away. Michael will take it away. And then you want to use that opportunity psychically in that moment to say, be love. Because there's, if they're really stuck to an attachment or to an ideology, or they just not done being mad or being annoying, you may only have a couple seconds to get that, to put that command or suggestion in that light. So it's a lot to explain, but that's the simplest way I can say it. But that came from Gabriel today, to say, be love when you blast somebody. As far as your home, bomb blast when you're saying your prayers at night, and then you ask Michael and Gabriel to be with you, and call in the army of angels to surround, and they will. And when I really tune in, I can see them walking around the house. So that is also very real and powerful. You can blast cars to bless somebody's journey. You can surround it with angels. Anything. I've been blasting the kids. I don't know. I blast everybody all the time. I do all the time. Angels are, psychic bubble wrap, all kinds of stuff around everybody all the time. Make sure everybody's okay. Okay. So when I was talking to Gabriel today, he was saying, I asked him about baptism because I said, and this is interesting. Okay. Now we all know that the Bible is very old and has fallen into the hands of leaders over time and has been changed many times. I have been told by Jesus that the truth is still in there. You have to read it. It speaks to you. But when I asked him about baptism, I said, is baptism truly for the forgiveness of sins, washing away the sins? He says, baptism is protection from the world's sins. And I was like, well, that's a thinker. You think on that for the rest of your life. He said, as an adult, it can be cleansing of your perceived sins. You know, serious sins, yes, when you intended to cause harm and to hurt and everything. But there's a lot of people walking around with a lot of things that they've sinned, and thinking they're bad for doing things that they had no intention of doing. And baptism and confession and prayer and things like that are really good for getting rid of that perceived burden. You know, you're not there. God's not saying up there like, well, I don't know if I want to forgive you. You need to forgive yourself. You're carrying the pack of rocks on your back. Okay. God's love is unconditional, and unconditional means unconditional. You know, you turn to God and say, God, you know, I did that bad thing and I was stupid, and and mean it. You have to mean it. It's important. But it's interesting that like we baptize our babies, and it's told to us, unless I'm getting this wrong, is that, oh, well, you know, to get rid of the sins of man and to start fresh and to be marked, you know, and all this. It really does put a mark of protection on you as God's child. It's very loving for a parent to do for a child. And as an adult, you are making a choice. You're picking your team. Confirmation, same thing. And I said, well, how would one do this if they can't like get to the church? If they just wanted to do it now, would it be okay to do now like I did for Katie? Tell me that was okay for me to do. And he's like, water on the forehead or get in the shower. And simply say, let this water cleanse me, God, and protect me. Let this water mark me as your creation forevermore. I reject all evil. Amen. Done. And he was also talking about back here. For those of you taking my interdimensional meditation classes, you can do this. Anybody else, you can do it too. It will just be easier for them. Gabriel says, go into meditation and get your armor and shield as protection. So this is cool. Okay, I have a sword. They gave me a sword. And I have armor along the way. I've been doing this for a long time. I have armor, and it looks like illuminated glass, and so does my sword. It's totally cool, and I have no idea why it looks like that in meditation. And so go into meditation. Talk to Michael, Jesus, God, and say, I would like my armor and shield, please, for my protection. And you'll trip out. You'll trip out on what you see. So he wants you to go in and get the shield. Okay, so like when negative energy is coming at you, once you hold up the shield in your mind now at your chest, it's like the light is activated. It's like there's this light goes all around you. Shield of protection. So you hold the shield up. And I said, and so like when you're going to blast somebody in your mind, hold the shield up right here, put your arm out, blast them. And that's what he was showing me, that you guys can do that. Don't go running at him and grab whatever you see by the neck and hold it down on the ground like I do. I don't know why I do that, but that's something that I do. And it could not, I don't want to teach people that because it's dangerous, but go and get your shields up. And again, if you're going to blast an individual, say be love. Because if you're being love and you're centered in love, it's not romantic love. It's love itself. If you're centered in that is the highest of vibrations. It is Well, it's a book I'm going to write, but it's called The Seventh Element. It is the element that houses all others. It is the light. It is the light of creation, and that is love. And there is no vibration higher than that. And so and love your neighbors, right? So if you're going to blast somebody, don't do it with like, I'm going to hurt you kind of thoughts. You're thinking, I'm going to help you. I'm going to correct you. I'm going to give you an opportunity to be love, to stop engaging in these negative behaviors. And then learn from that. Try to be love yourself. Being love doesn't mean you run around with flowers in your hair and you just, somebody punches you and that's okay. And, all this stuff. It doesn't mean that. It means that you really try to live it. You really try to make decisions at the highest level and at the highest good, not leaving yourself out. For your loved ones, for your family, for those around you, when you see an opportunity, be kind, be generous, be wise. And it also means, you're going to hold back sometimes. Sometimes you're going to hold back and you're not going to say those things because it's really going to hurt somebody. Maybe rethink the way you want to say something in a way that would be, more easily accepted. Like let's say you have a problem with your husband or your wife. If you approach them like, you did this and you did that and you are wrong and you are this and you are that, immediately they're going to go to the defense. They're going to be like, I'm being attacked. But if you walk up to somebody and say, like your husband, and say, I'm feeling this way because of something that I saw you do or I heard you say. And this is how it made me feel. Was that your intention? So many fights can be avoided. So many. Because a lot of times, no. I mean, my husband is, smart as can be, but he has the ability to sit there and stare at a wall and think of nothing. And that's just like, I can't even comprehend that. I can't even do that. He may be over there thinking of nothing, and I'm thinking he's thinking over there mad at me about something or judging me about something. And I can go on and on in my head and think about it with all this negative energy and just keep it brewing. Just churn it up, and I'm good at that. And I will churn it up, and I've got this whole scenario played out because the dude's sitting over there thinking of nothing. And I've got it, and I'll take it to the place where he just doesn't even like me anymore. Like he's and so if I don't communicate what I'm feeling, he doesn't have any idea. And so that's how a lot of these things start. That's when you say, you should have better communication. Say, don't attack somebody. And really don't let it go. Don't let it go on too long because then your mind's spinning and you've got this whole thing. It's like a full feature, And if you would, like, let's say, gosh, the stupidest of things happen. Let me see. I'm trying to think of something in my own life that happened that I totally misread. I don't know. Let's just say, like, you made dinner. And he said something like, I was like, oh, did you like your dinner? Yes, I like my dinner. I was like, what was the What was it? Are you saying I'm not a good cook? Are you saying, saying that, you're disappointed in me? Is that, sometimes we'll do that. We'll take it all the way there. Or it'll just do something. And what I'm trying to say is we can misinterpret it and we need to come back and say, listen, earlier you said this or did this and I took it this way. Is that what you meant? Because one question, you can avoid like 3 days of fighting. So to live in love and to aspire to be divine and to limit the amount of negativity in your life, these are some of the ways you need to make some adjustments. You know, if you say that you reject all evil, and and you're going around stirring the pot, you know, and making everybody upset because something got your feathers ruffled for a minute, you're creating chaos in your house. You just take a step back, take a deep breath, and talk it out. But as far as psychic protection, I would like you guys, and I know I'm always trying to teach you something, but I'd like you guys to practice. I'd love to hear about it. You know, just start doing it. You'll see. You will see. You know, it's like when I teach the meditation classes and I tell people, you'll see. You'll see. And then they're like, okay, well, it sounds like a bunch of imagination. Then I get these emails coming back. Oh, my God, you know, oh, my God, this happened. And then I Googled it and it was true and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, they're real. You know, I don't know how else to say it. You know, nobody figures things are real until they experience that it's real. So practice your protection, walk around in your bubble. You are a vehicle for the light. Do you know why? Do I really need to tell my God story again? I'm not going to tell the whole story again. But you're a piece of God. You're a separation of his consciousness in order to experience, because he's all-knowing without experience. And so that's what we're doing. We're experiencing. And we are all him, and he is all of us, separated in different pieces and forgetting that we are him so that we can experience everything and every way and every possible outcome. So you are a vehicle for the light and not the darkness. Why does pain and sadness and fear and worry and jealousy, one of the lowest vibrations, why do they feel bad? Why don't they feel good? Because it's foreign to you. It's the anti-you. It's like an allergic reaction your body has and your mind has, because you are of a very high vibration at the core. And that's why love feels good. And that's why joy feels good. And that's why laughing feels good. So it's time to take off the mask. It's time to remember who you really are. And then it's time to walk the walk. You are not a victim. You are more powerful than you think. And let's get out there and start blasting some things, okay? And use your psychic protection. If you have any questions, you guys can email me at, you just go to jenniferfallaw.com. Let me get that banner up there. Bink, right there, jenniferfallaw.com. You can email me there. If you would like a psychic reading with me, a house cleansing, a healing, anything like that, you can go to jenniferfallaw.com. It's all right there. You can also listen to my radio station, beaconoflightradio.com. We have all kinds of beacon of lights over there who have recorded many shows, and they're playing 24/7. And it is actual radio, online radio station. It is not a podcast, and it is not a show. So we can do that. You can go there. Please share this broadcast. I'm trying to, I'm new, and I'm trying to get followers so people will listen to me. And that's pretty. Oh, and my next class in interdimensional meditation is going to be mediumship. It is our third class. If you have not taken the first two, they are very available to go get right now. There is a live person that will email it to you, so they're could be a little delay there between seeing the email and sending it to you, but class 1 and 2 is on. Let's go back to the banners. I will get much better at this soon. JenniferFallaw.com, first page. You can go there and get class 1 and 2. That'll teach you how to walk into a dream in meditation and talk to the archangels. Class 2 is self-healing. That's why I did it this in the second class, because it's one of the most valuable things you'll ever learn. I mean, go and stand in the presence of God and receive healing. And I know it works, or people wouldn't come to me for years and years and years to be healed. People don't come back to you if you don't have a good product, if you don't do good work. And so I'm trying to teach you how to do it yourself. So do that. And then class 3 is going to be mediumship. So what you're going to be able to do, I'm going to teach you how to go and talk in meditation to your loved ones who have passed away. And there's like nothing more healing than that. I mean, to be able to do that, so many people just suffer. I know. I've been there. You just suffer, just wanting so badly to be able to pick up a phone and talk to them again. And now you can. Talk to your pets. You can go. What I'm going to teach you is how to go to where they are and see what they're doing, and see where they live, and see all this stuff, and find things out. So we're going to do that, and it's going to be April 5th. Yes, April 5th at 5 p.m. And it's on the website, and you can sign up now. All right, let's go to the chat and see what we got here. Josh O'Ryan said Jen cleaned my house quite well. Thank you. Marcy's in there. If I miss it only imports for a certain time. Rosemary's there. Are you awake? Love you too. Let's see. Inbox me. Oh, spammers. Yeah, I'll figure out that. Let's see what we can do about that. Oh, let's do that. All right. I don't see a lot of questions here, so I probably will get going, because I do have a show to produce on the radio station. Dave Barra. Today is March 24th, 2021. 5 p.m. Pacific. Dave Barra will be on in 1 hour with Out on the Edge with Dave Barra. And you guys might want to tune in and listen to that at beaconoflightradio.com. Let me get down to the bottom, see if we got any more questions before we end. Can you turn the volume off on that? Thank you. I'm live and my husband walks in with watching my show.
Someone asked a question about Ouija boards.
Ouija boards. What did they ask about Ouija boards? Okay, let's talk about Ouija boards. All right, what a Ouija board is it is a tool. Somehow this tool, compared with your intent, can open a portal in your home. I don't know why that is, and I don't know who the loser was that decided to make it a child's toy. Probably some witch somewhere, or some evil person. I'm not talking about good. I'm talking about the bad guys, okay? Do not do it. Do not play with it. Because you don't know. You never know who you're talking to. You may do it to try and talk to your dad. I really got to talk to Dad. I'm telling you, take the class, walk in a protected state with the angels, and be safe and talk to your real dad, because it could be just like I said, there's bad guys walking around all over the place. That's why everybody's got guardian angels and stuff, or we wouldn't have lived past birth. The Ouija board, scrying, and also the pendulum can open portals with your intent to reach out. It's a tool for you to open the portal, actually. So if not done correctly, and with enough protection, and by someone who can see what's there, you could put yourself in a lot of danger. A lot of the houses that I've cleansed, somebody was playing with a Ouija board and there's a portal in it, and we find out later that's what happened. And there's bad guys coming in and out all the time. And so these, what I'm talking about are these demons, basically, and they're like parasites to people. They come in, they try to dwindle you down. Let's say your vibration is very high and you're a joyous person and you're healthy. Well, let's say maybe the teenager in your house, much easier to influence. So they'll influence the teenager to make your life a living hell. And then your vibration slowly falls because you're ragged and you didn't think it was going to be this way. And they just never do anything they're supposed to do. And don't get me started, okay, on the teenagers. But, so they'll pick somebody else around you to instigate, to dwindle you down because you're like fresh meat, you know? Fresh life force energy to drain, somebody to control, somebody to create what I cannot create because I have turned against the creator. And so that's what happens with these attachments. Anyway, I have not used a pendulum, but I do know that anything like that you use to contact spirit without protection, without being very, very specific, and even then, the pendulum Bonnie was asking, she uses pendulum sometimes. Be very specific in who you're talking to. If you're going to use something like that, speak only and pray and say, I would like to use this thing here, but I want the angels to come strictly from Archangel Michael, or strictly from Jesus, or strictly from whoever, and make sure that they are around you and that is protected. That's the only thing I could suggest. There may be people that know more. Now let's talk about sage, and then I'm going to get going. But now, for some reason, sage, sacred herb, okay, people want to burn a switch of sage and walk around the house and get rid of the negative energy in the room. That's going to be like spraying an air freshener, pretty much. It's going to get rid of weak, negative energies. If you have an infestation of entities who are stronger, it's just going to piss them off. It's not going to get rid of them. Like I said in the beginning, they need to be removed and taken back to where they belong. The dimension which matches their vibration. So if you go around sage in the house, which is nice maintenance, you know, let's clear the energy in here. Let's raise the vibration of the energy. But if you have an actual bad guys entities running around, people getting scratched, I mean, lots of stuff going on, do not pull out the sage. Contact somebody who knows what they're doing. Get your house blessed, something like that. Deborah Thomas said, I did your class 1 and 2, tried the meditation a few times. Archangel Michael won't talk to me. How do I get him to talk? That is a personal, ask a question, first of all, and allow him to talk to you. That is your personal perception. He's talking to you. He told me a long time ago, there is never an honest, outstretched hand that we do not embrace. And he was talking about the angels. He just stares at me. Did you ask any questions? That's kind of funny. Try again. Ask him to talk to you. This is more of a personal block, thinking that he can't talk to you. This is hard. Interesting. Try again. Ask him why he won't talk to you. Just start talking. And allow yourself to visualize. Sometimes it can be so hard that you're just like, we may think things about ourselves like we're not worthy to talk to them, or they're mad at me because I've been bad, or something like that. And we'll have this experience. Just keep trying. I've had people message me and tell me that, they've got their own handshake, and they're like, they're solving the mysteries of the world, and they're, doing all kinds of things. And just try. I think that's more of a personal, block because you think maybe it's hard or something like that. Okay, let's see. Annette, can you tell me about parental great-grandparents? My grandfather, George, was an orphan, train rider from New York, records burned. We know little. Thompson may be the last name. I think that's my grandma's family's last name. Let me see if I can get a little something here on the air with that. That's quite a question. I'd have to really dig into that one. Focus. So the main question is the reason for being orphaned. My grandfather was orphaned. Why was your grandfather orphaned? He was misplaced in the shuffle. So they came from a place of war and was sent here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was World War II or what. Great-grandfather parents, I don't know. He was misplaced in the shuffle. So I don't know if he was necessarily orphaned when he was misplaced in the shuffle and then became orphaned, but I do think that the war was involved. Ashley, I get so nervous just thinking about talking to angels. Then again, most things make me nervous. Don't be. They're the most, I can get more loving than that. The most loving, most understanding, they don't judge you. They're the best teachers. There's no reason to be nervous at all. Just be specific about who you talk to. That's why I suggest everybody start with Michael. He's the easiest to see. He's the safest, well, they're all safe, but some people, I saw this book of angels one time, and there was a million archangels, all these different names and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't really feel like half of these are safe. I don't trust that. So just stick with what you know, stick with the Most High. And then, if you want to meet others along the way, then ask them to introduce you. I think that's pretty much all I have for today. Let's remember our message for the day, which is God is always listening. No one is silenced and no one is misunderstood, and the call is being answered. So thank you all for joining me once again. Please share this. Please subscribe. Please do all of the things. I don't think I have as many YouTube listener or watchers on this because I'm streaming to so many different places. But thank you all for joining me again. And I will be back next Monday. Next Wednesday's show will probably be on Thursday or earlier because I'm going out of town on Wednesday. I have things to do. So I will see you guys next time. Trying to get back to have a lovely night and God bless.